How's it going, everybody? Welcome to Dead Cells, new series here on the channel. Probably just going to be a mini-series, depending on how well it gets received. Yeah! We are that green little ball. We're possessing this body. It is a rogue-lite game, where permadeath and all that good stuff. I've been hooked on it for the past, I don't know, week. Totally hooked on it. And you can see here, by this awesome lobby area before you start each run, how far along I am in the game. So each little jar hanging here represents an item that you can collect in the game or unlock or upgrade and that kind of a thing. Similar like your guns and enter the gungeon and whatnot. But oh wow, look at that. You can see the bottles distorting the chain behind it. Wow. So you can see I maybe unlocked a little over half of them, I would say. A little over half of them. And yeah, so we're gonna start our run here. This is the sword I happen to start with this run with. I have something unlocked that gives me a random sword every start of a run. And immediately you're gonna notice that not only is it gorgeous, can I show you guys something actually? Let's go back for a second. I know that there's like a time element to the run, but I wanna show you guys this. I love that, running through those chains, I love that. Check this out. Look at that glow of the sunlight and the particles in the upper right that are floating in front of, it's beautiful. Particles over there in the left void, you can really see them there. It's beautiful. It's so beautiful. Love it. Okay. It's a gorgeous game. It's a 2D game. It's a side-scroller game. That's a little different, right? Isaac doesn't really do that. Enter the Gungeon, Nuclear Throne. Those are all similar games in the sense that they are this rogue-like kind of game, but they're also top-down, and they're also kind of bullet hell. And this, the developers describe as souls-like combat. I actually really disagree with that. I'm a Souls fan, Dark Souls and whatnot, but you know, I disagree. I think what they're referring to is the fact that you get this health potion that you can only take a limited number of drinks from, and that you know, once you die, you have to go back to the beginning. I mean, that's kind of true for all these games, the permadeath element of it, but I think they're also maybe referring to the fact that you really have to read your enemies, and I'll totally agree with that. This game is all about reading your enemies. I mean, you can see the little exclamation points when they're about to swing. I actually think that might even be a little bit too much information. I wonder if maybe without that, what the game would be a little bit more Souls-like even. But this game, as you can see, I mean, I'm running around, I'm swinging like crazy. I feel like with Souls, even on your most glass cannon-like playthrough, where you're swinging like crazy with all these fast hits, you're still a little bit more hang back, a little bit more measured than this game. This game is definitely fast, way more fast than Souls-like combat. But another thing that helps contribute to this, yeah, I don't want that electric whip. So, you know what, before I go any further, let me say this. If you guys find it confusing that I'm starting this like more than halfway through unlocking all the items and you're not getting it, or whatever, I'll start a new game. Let me know in the comments. I'm gonna trust you guys to let me know, is this too much of an information dump? I'd be more than happy to start over, if people would like me to. Yeah, I'm gonna poison the victim. Got us a shop, that's pretty standard. This is a great item, I'm gonna buy that. And what does this amulet do? I don't have one of those yet. Collect cells and gold without needing to be in range. I've never seen that one. Let's go for it. I don't think that's really gonna help us do well in the run. Okay, it looks like we're going, I'm gonna actually teleport back up here and try that other direction. I love that effect. I love that visual effect. It's so cool. So yeah, kind of disagree about, ooh, hello. Oh man, I would have totally bought that if I hadn't just bought that other amulet. So I want to make this a series because I'm totally hooked on it. I actually got a key to review before the game came out. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna do a little first look episode. It was like a blind playthrough, and wasn't, you know, there was like a couple things I was gonna complain about, and a couple things that I was gonna really compliment the game on. I want to finish clearing this dungeon. And, you know, I had a lot to say, and I was pretty pleased with the video I had made. And then I edited the video, and I was getting ready to upload it, and I saw there was another patch, and I was like, you know, that game's really fun, I'm gonna play some more. So I played a little more, and I realized that the patch that was made, and this was all before it was available on Steam, and it's technically early access. Before, oh, a secret in the wall, secret in the wall. Oh man, kinda hoping for a carrot. And anyways, so I was thinking to myself, you know, I'll play some more, and the patch was like major. Like a lot of the complaints I had were fixed. Ooh, found a secret on the floor. This is cool. I'll show you guys what this is. This is something really interesting. It's like another world you go in. So I re-recorded my video. Oh, okay. Gotta focus. You can't get hit, and you have 2.5 minutes. What should I do here? Maybe a roll? Oh no! Oh shoot. Don't get hit! Ah, I got hit. I've never beaten one of those. They're so hard. I've never beaten one. I have no idea what the reward would be. Yeah, I'll get that for sure. Spending gold. Gold is one of the currencies. We can talk about that in a second here, because the currencies are kind of cool. Anyways, so, okay, that's that. Is there any path I haven't gone down yet? I think that's everything. Let's go down this one. I'll show you guys the next type of environment. This is inside a dungeon. There's like 11 different environments or levels that you can go through. Anyways, so I made this video and I had to re-record it because it wasn't accurate anymore. And then that same exact thing happened again. New patch, had to re-record it, wasn't accurate. And I was like, you know what? I'm so hooked at this point that they've addressed all the problems even before the game came out. By the time it was in early access, I was like, no, more than one video is needed now. More than one video is needed. So check it out. We got, in the lower left-hand corner, we got gold. I got 6,000. That's a pretty good amount, especially because we've spent quite a bit of gold this run. And then we also have 18 of those blue things. Those are the dead cells, and you can spend them here. You can invest them here with this guy and actually get unlock some more items. So if you look, let's take a look at like this shield here. The blood shield, block attacks causes bleeding. So it costs 20 of the cells. We can invest maybe like a couple in here and a couple in some other ones if we wanted to try to work on a couple at the same time. But you'll notice it doesn't have any red arrows on it like some of these other ones do, and that means that I'm unlocking it for the first time. If we look at this one here, the assault shield, that actually does have these red arrows because I've previously invested enough cells to unlock it, and then we're upgrading it to increase its damage from 0 to 5%. So that's pretty cool, right? So you can actually kind of work on making your favorite weapons even more powerful. Now there are some other ones. These are skills, which are basically throwables and also buffs. There are some buffs here, like a damage buff, which probably I should get because that sounds really good. But I've unlocked quite a few swords. I'm not great at shields. Basically ranged, I have a melee and a ranged weapon. I kind of rely on the roll for everything else. Now, you can see that I've unlocked some health potions. These are grayed out because I've already gotten them. So this is basically single-use health potion. This is, you can have 2 swigs from it. This is 3 drinks from it. And then finally you get the next one, which I need to unlock 2 more items to get. So I actually need to start unlocking some more stuff, which we probably should do because that's a really good thing. One of the things I'm working on here is the gold recovery. So gold, the other currency, which is really important because you spend it at the shop, you can unlock the doors. Very important. You actually lose it all when you die. And in fact, your dead souls, you actually lose all of them when you die as well. Start the run with 0. So you have to try to make it to the end of the level so you can actually invest your cells. And otherwise, it was a big waste. So you do have to make it to the end of each level to actually like unlock something that will carry on through the runs, which is really high stakes and adds a lot of intensity to the game. But that's pretty standard. So let's see. If you unlock this, I've unlocked a couple. So the gold recovery means that when you start a new run, for this level that I'm highlighting right now that I already have unlocked, 65% of the gold we have when we die will actually be sitting on the floor. So that's a little bit more than half. So we have like a little bit, what do we have, like almost 7K. So probably like almost 4,000 will be sitting on the ground when we start our next run. So that's like really great if you want to try to do a couple of different runs with the explicit purpose of just grinding something, right? Because you can start that run and you can actually just buy up some really good weapons from the get-go and you'll have a good run, and at least enough to make it to this merchant. And then there are these other really cool upgrades. So I already purchased this one. Every time we start, there's a random bow, and there's other kinds of ranged weapons as well, like the throwing knives we have right now, but there's a random bow sitting on the ground out of all of the ones we've unlocked so far. And then there's also this other one here where there's a random sword. So sometimes you'll get like, you know, basically you don't get the starter crappy sword. You're gonna get something that has a little bit of a uniqueness to it, and I really like that. Now, This shield one I haven't even bothered because I'm not good at timing the shields yet. So there's a couple things I'm working on here. So the lightning bolt is like one of my favorite weapons, but maybe we'll come across that later. I want to work on unlocking this gold recovery, and then that will mean that we only have to unlock one more thing for the healing potion, and then we'll get that. And then I think we'll be pretty much maxed out so that we're like able to do some pretty consistently, do some pretty long runs, I hope. I'm just gonna throw all of my cells into that one. I could have split it into a couple different things if I wanted, but I went with that. Okay, so, okay, yeah, let's see. Moving on. This is, if you come across these, which normally are between levels, they will refill your number of health potions. Okay, all right. So, I think the biggest thing this game suffers from, which is not a problem for me yet, but will be soon, is just that it doesn't quite have as much. It's still early access, so it doesn't quite have as much in it as something like Enter the Gungeon or Isaac does. And that is kind of a problem because it means that the repetitive nature... Oh, jeez. I forgot I had those swords. The repetitive nature of the game really kind of comes through when you're sort of in the same environments and using the same weapons. I think I wouldn't have... as things go on, I'm hoping that that's one of the things they focus on the most, is sort of adding some more levels to it, adding some more bosses to it, and adding some more weapons to it, because I think that the rest of the game is pretty much solid. I mean, maybe a couple more little special moves here and there, but I think they... What? That's spike things, don't want to touch those. Oh, no thanks. Teleport back up to the top. I think that's, ooh, these here, you get to, these are really good when you find them. We definitely need some health. You get to upgrade something about your character. As you can see, I'm doing ground pounds. I'm rolling. Oh, hello. Is that an upgraded version of the turret? Shoots pierce the first target. 25% stun on a target. I actually think piercing through the target might be better. Let's do that. I'm gonna keep the one we have. Ground pounds and rolls are pretty much your two options. Everything else that you can do comes from the weapons you have and the throwables and stuff. And I think that's not bad. I mean, it does mean that like in your early game, you're pretty much probably going to be like, okay, third run in, I get the combat, but I'm still not getting anywhere because you don't have any weapon unlocks, and that's where like the magic happens in the game, which is true for everything, like Gungeon and stuff like that as well, right? But and I haven't played that game much. I only played it once, actually, on a friend of mine let me play his game, and from what I could tell, you encountered a lot more random weapons than in this game. So that would be one critique I have for this game, is that, like, I'm here, I'm in the second zone, and I want to be able to, I want to start finding some unique weapons here that I can start piecing together, like, this run, I should probably start playing like this or like that. And you'll see what I mean by that. If we actually pull up this, you can see that my upper left sword poisons that the turret that I was just talking about actually pierces, so the bullets go through the first enemy and actually can hit a second one. Those kinds of things are like, I think they could do a lot more with that. Oh, Jesus. Down there. Gotta get rid of that shield. I think they could, ooh, jeez. I think they could do a lot more with that system, and rather than make it like some pretty basic buffs, I think they could even get a little crazier with it, like double the attack speed or something like that. Something that makes it so that, you know, maybe you play more of a harassment run where you're not doing very much damage, and those kinds of things, rather than just the sort of the basic buffs that you would get in the game. I think they could expand upon that, and I hope they do that for you know, later on in the early access life of this game. And on top of that, I think another simple thing would just be increasing the sheer number of weapons as well. Door was sealed 5 minutes ago, so if you do a really fast run, if you want to get some gold, and you do a really fast run, and you open these doors, you will be rewarded for what's behind them, but I take really slow runs, because I like to try to explore through everything, and I almost never make it. Oh, nice. Got the phaser. I will definitely pick that up instead of the flashbang. This is a really interesting buff or ability where you teleport right behind somebody. Oh, secret in the wall with a carrot. Yes. I love the aesthetic. It's not all that unique, but it's done so well. I mean, the color palettes for each level. I know it's pixel art, and if I told you that I had a side-scrolling platforming pixel art indie game, you'd probably be like, ugh, another one. But I mean, I think this went with a really interesting aesthetic, and I think they did a really good job. It's not your normal, it's not your normal pixel art thing. It's a little bit higher resolution. I think there's a lot more emphasis on foreground and background, and I think the level design is really great in terms of like certain visual cues. I'll see if I can find an example of what I'm talking about there in a second. Anyways, let's see. What? Oh, I missed him. Alright, we should maybe... Can we ground pound that enemy there and pick up this carrot? Top off the old health? Oh boy, that's tricky. I mean, here's an example of like... They put those spikes... By default, you can't see them on the map, and you can't see them from here, but you can... If you take the time... They're just within your view if you move your camera around. It would be really unfair if they were not in your view, moving your camera around. But there's a lot of spacing in the levels like that where you might think to yourself, oh boy, can I do that? And if you're really careful, you'll always be able to be pretty sure that there's something you can do to execute safe passage along the level. Oh, shoot. Where's that? Where is that? Here it is. Hate those things. They make life so much harder. Here, enemies are invincible while I got that shield on them. Speaking of levels, I think that's a really awesome thing to talk about next, because it's one of the things I really praise this game for, and like it's kind of hard to say. So as usual with these games, there are definitely predetermined rooms that you're going through that you will recognize that you've been through 100 times, right? That's pretty simple. But this game does a really good job with it, I would say, I think. And that's I think commendable. So, oh yes, another chest. Give me something good. I hate the bear trap. I will not get it. So, I mean, okay. One thing I would say that Isaac does well is that they sort of never pretend like it's gonna be all that fluid of a level. And what I mean by that is, it's a grid. You're gonna be moving up, down, left, right, and there isn't really like much of a, there's a clear distinction between those rooms, and that's kind of how you're playing the game, and that's just part of it. And then when you get games like Nuclear Throne and Enter the Gungeon, then there's this attempt that people generally praise them for to sort of make things feel a little bit more natural than that. By this room I've been in 100 times. I know that for sure because the giant elevator is very clearly memorable. We'll move on to the third one here. This is a pretty good run so far, pretty good run. I think we could do with probably some slightly better weapons, maybe. I'm just gonna keep dumping it all into the gold recovery, honestly. I think that's an important one. And we didn't even get hit. We don't even need that. Oh, I guess we got hit, but then we had carrots to save our butt. And I think it's commendable to put your dungeons on this non-grid space. It's a good move. I like it, but I think part of the issue with that is that it's hard to do well, and it was still really clear, at least in Enter the Gungeon to me, that you were leaving one room and entering another room, and that it was a predetermined room that had a little hallway between, and that basically there was going to be some sort of enemy configuration in there. I don't know if that part was random or not, but you know, that it didn't, for all intents and purposes, it really could have been the Isaac style of grid, because oh wow, we're getting lucky with the chests. Well, frost-related slowdown lasts 4 times. No, I'm not doing that. Wait. What was the other ability? Fires an arrow upwards. That can actually be really useful in some situations. But you can also kind of automatically targets close by enemies with that, so that's gonna be pretty much the same thing. Let's not do that. And we're probably way behind. Yeah, 7 minutes behind that. So, yeah, I didn't think it really bought much for the game. Now, this game does it way more fluid. You're not really able to tell when you're moving from one room to another. Like, you will recognize, yes, I've been to this elevator before. Oh, yes, I remember this room underneath. You know, actually, as a matter of fact, I'm pretty sure this room was like one, like, that room was pretty much, yeah, you can see on the map, that's actually some repeated room down on the, like, to the left. If you look on the map on the lower right, there's that yellow room. To the left of the yellow room, there's a certain room, and then to the right, it's the same thing. But going between them, there wasn't this, like, distinct, clear all the enemies, open the door to get there, and then you'll be to the next room. That doesn't exist in this game, and I appreciate that so much because it gives you the ability to run. Say I'm gonna try to run past this enemy, or I'm going to, you know, just sort of fluidly move throughout this dungeon and try to find some gold, or try to find a health pickup in the wall or something like that. The other interesting thing about that, though, is that it does give the enemies, in this game at least, have the ability to chase, which is another high-intensity moment when you make that decision to run. Can you actually pull it off? Oh, Jesus. I should probably explain how ammo works, too, because that's coming into play here. Whoa! No. Time to go. Oh, that thing is gonna get us. All right, we gotta take a drink. Wow. Oh, my. All right, let's throw out the turret. Oh, no! Wrong thing. Meant to throw out the turret. We're gonna need another drink. You can see the game gets pretty unforgiving in some of the later ones. Oh no! Wow, that guy does massive damage. We lost 13 cells. Gotta start the run over. Well, I thought it would make most sense to do one run per video. I think I've pretty much explained everything I like and don't like about the video. About the game, rather, and certainly I want to. Okay, we have less gold at the start of this run because we didn't quite get enough gold to sort of break even with the upgrade. Part of the reason why I really want that upgrade to get 85% of the gold sticking around. We can see this time we start with a bow, and we start with the twin blades. The bow is the ammo. Let's explain that. That's pretty much the last thing. I didn't really finish my explanation of the fact that I really like the dungeon layouts and how you can try to run, but that you have to make sure you actually can pull that off because that can be kind of hard sometimes. But it does add another interesting component to it of, anyways, but the bow, ammunition for the bow, you can see the ammo's flying back to you. Actually, I'll explain this out here. So this bow has, let's see, 9 ammo. And if I go out here, we can actually sink 2 arrows into that guy, and they do not fly back to us. Once we kill him, we'll get those 2 arrows back. So you're kind of limited like that instead, which is interesting. It's like if you put some ammo onto somebody, you better kill them, or you'll be kind of going without that ammo for the rest of your run, which I think is a good way to do it. So there's never really limited ammo, but you can't just stand at a distance and spam it with any weapon except for the bow that actually does have infinite ammo, which doesn't do very much damage, as you might imagine. All right, well, that's gonna be it for me for now. I'll probably do at least, depending on the response, if you really like this video, let me know in whichever way you see fit, and I'll continue the series. I'm really liking this game. If you would prefer that I start fresh and we kind of grind up some of these things together, we can do that for sure. Let me know if you prefer that. But thanks for watching, everybody. I'll see you all in the next video.